Hello everyone, welcome back. This is Tom O'Connor of Advanced Discovery, and we're here once again at the University of Florida Levin College of Law EDiscovery Conference. We're in the story booth of the EDiscovery project, interviewing a number of different people, and the gentleman with me now I think needs no introduction. If you don't know Ralph Losey, you really shouldn't even be talking about EDiscovery. Ralph is well known in the field, has a great website, the EDiscovery team, if I'm correct, yes. And my estimation has really done the entire profession a service with his educational efforts. You've been out there writing top-rate. I used to say when you were doing them weekly, your Monday morning I'd have to get ready to read a law review article to read your blog post because it was so well done, and I couldn't just skim over it. But what have you been up to? Tell us about what you're doing these days. I know you've got a couple of different educational things going on, a book.
Yes, I feel like I'm on the Tonight Show. I get to plug my book. So actually I've written, 2 books have been published this year. The first one I was the sole author, and it's called EDiscovery for Everyone, published by the ABA. Right now you can only get it through the ABA, but if you're a member you get a little discount. Pretty soon, I think in June, it'll appear on Amazon as well.
Oh, great, great.
So you'll be able to get it even more easily. And I designed that book to be, literally as the title indicates, for all lawyers, and not just lawyers too. It's an introduction, and I did my darndest to make it interesting and kind of fun to read. So that's one book. Okay. The other book is kind of a little different. It's kind of a specialist thing. It's called Perspectives on Predictive Coding. I was a co-editor with Jason Barron, and we got in some of the brightest people in the world contributing chapters. Since I was the editor, they even let me contribute 2 chapters. So it's a good kind of reference book, very thick book, unlike my EDiscovery for Everyone. And it's the kind of thing you might want to consult to dig deeper in what is one of the hottest topics in EDiscovery. So those are my books that I've been working on.
And I'm sorry, just to interrupt quickly, the individual authors would write on a specific aspect of predictive coding? There was no overlap from chapter to chapter, or how did that handle?
Well, we editors did our best to avoid overlap. There's some, but everybody has their own unique take on things.
Right.
But that was part of our job to make it kind of flow smoothly, and I think Jason did a good job.
Good.
And so yeah, we're happy with that. Definitely, if you want to dig really deep into predictive coding, buy the book. I would also hope you would take a look at the TAR course. That's what I call it. That's online. It's free. The books, unfortunately, are expensive. The ABA charges a fair amount, but worth it.
Because you get such a massive royalty, right?
Yeah, like I heard you got a nickel a book. My deal is a penny, I think. Yeah. But we've got this online course too, because I'm really passionate about trying to share what I know. I cannot yet upload it into the matrix, and so I'm trying to write. The other day I did a rough estimate, and I think I've written over 2 million words now. It's like, wow. I have a problem with writing, but I enjoy it. To me it's fun. I write because it helps me order my thoughts to try and explain them in writing. And I'm just, I'm a writer as much as a lawyer at this point, so I'm focusing my writing on training. And that's one of the things I've done in addition to write the 2 books, which really I did that last year. Now I'm just coasting. But this year I got this TAR course put together, 16 classes. 16 classes, okay. And I'm now adding homework assignments at the end of each one. Not like you're going to be graded, but to allow for further reading, get the benefit of here's what I think you should do to supplement it. I think I'm on class 3, so it's a work in progress. But that'll allow somebody to go deep into what I think the right way to do predictive coding is. Because I think what's important, software is good, but there's a lot of good software out there. What the important thing is, well, how do you use it? It's like, if you're given an electric drill and you don't know to pull the button and how to do it, it won't do you much good. So my focus only is on how to do it. And I've been obsessed with this ever since the Silva Moore, and we got this big rush of energy, and I said, all right, we're going to change the profession. It didn't happen the way I hoped, and I think a lot of it is because the methods that were being used and promoted largely by vendors, because we lawyers hadn't had our chance yet to get our hands on it, wasn't quite right. So if you had problems with predictive coding before, try it again.
And you use, and correct me if I'm not saying this correctly, a multimodal approach? Tell us about that.
Okay, so multimodal.
Because I think it's a
Yeah,
great perspective.
Basically means is I use every tool I can find and know about to find stuff. In addition to what's so-called predictive coding, which is, we don't have time to explain predictive coding. Check out the panel a little bit, but that's just one tool. You should use everything, not just be doing the AI enhanced, but use keyword search, use concept search, use clustering. I mean, latent analytics, everything you need to use it. Why not? And so a lawyer today, if you want to master the ability to find evidence, you've got to know how to use the tool set. Because the vendors have created a terrific tool set, but it's up to us lawyers to figure out how to actually use them.
Great. Now, is that on the EDiscovery team site as well, or is there a separate
That
site?
is. That's on the top of the site. And the final thing I knew you were going to ask me about is the EDiscovery team training.
Yes.
And that's on a different site.
Okay.
That's what you were thinking about. That's e-discoveryteamtraining.com. So this is something I developed right here at the University of Florida many years ago.
Oh.
It was the first online program at the University of Florida. Got approved by the dean and the faculty. They all had to check it out. And I taught it here for 2 years online with students, and I would actually do email with them too. After I stopped teaching here, I took that same program with the school's blessing and set up my own private program. I had a nominal charge for it just because I thought if people didn't pay something, they wouldn't think that it had value. Met my expenses and stuff. So long story short, I've had a change of heart and have just opened the doors, as I put it. It's now free. So you can get for nothing what used to cost people $500, and it is very detailed. I have over doubled the size since I was here at the University of Florida. This is open to everybody, but it's not like fluff. This is not eDiscovery made simple. It's the actual case law. I mean, it goes through every subject that I was teaching here and then some. It's 85 different classes.
85.
And I figure if you're good and fast, you can do it in 75 hours. I had one student, great student, great guy.
You could do it in 75 hours.
Well, I had one student took 400 hours because he took his time and he wanted to milk it for all it was worth. And so it's a resource for free because I'm very concerned that not enough lawyers know how to find the evidence, how to find the facts. And I don't want stuff decided by alternate facts. I want the truth. And if you can't find it in the databases, in all the electronically stored information, you're not going to get at the truth because we all know witnesses' memory is a fragile thing. And so we got to get the original writings. There are no more original paper writings. There's just printouts. A few lawyer notes, maybe.
Yeah. Well, that's great. I applaud you for doing that and throwing it out there for people because there's definitely a need for it. So the last question we've got, which is one I did not say anything to you about ahead of time, but we've been asking everybody. If you could have one eDiscovery superpower, what would that be? Well,
the one I have, I think, is, and I've worked on, you don't get superpowers by dreaming it, but I have, by spending hundreds, maybe thousands of hours, learned how to get a feeling for the artificial intelligence that I'm programming on computers to help me in document review. So that's why I humanize it. Me and my team, we call him, Mr. EDR. We think of it as a robot because it becomes like another entity. It's not, it is artificial intelligence. It is active machine learning. That's what it is. It's not general artificial intelligence. It can't think on its own. It's called specialized artificial intelligence.
Right.
And so what you do is, to me, I still find it exciting to do. I take what's in my head on what I think is relevant or what the other experts tell me are relevant, and I transfer that into the software, into the algorithms, a very advanced, sophisticated AI, active machine learning, and I train it, and I teach this robot. I teach it to know what I want, and it never makes a mistake. Once it gets it, it's totally consistent. We humans are totally inconsistent.
Right.
And it's fast. It's almost speed of light that it can go through and analyze everything.
Wow. So
that's a fun thing, but it ends up becoming, you spend a lot of time with it, you get a kind of an intuition or a feel for what it is. And I think this is something we're going to get in the next generation, is we're going to have lawyers and software and computers are not going to be as separate as they are. I'm not for brain implants. I heard Elon Musk, he's just investing in a new startup.
Right.
But to me, the lawyer and the computer need to be friends. The technology needs to work together, and these computers are getting smart. And so it becomes something where you can feel like you have a relationship with a computer,
right,
like humans can have a relationship. Different, I mean, they don't necessarily yell at you, but they will disagree with you. I mean, one of my coolest moments in software where I really became a believer is when I was training the program. You train it by showing it documents saying this is relevant, this is relevant, this is relevant. And I had trained, and then it comes back to you and says, well, here's the ones I think are relevant that you haven't marked relevant. Well, it came back to me and sent me a document that I had told it was irrelevant. And it was disagreeing with me. And I'm going, oh, what's the matter with this software? But I looked at it more carefully next time. Sure enough, near the end of the email was where the triggering phrase was. And the reality is, when humans are doing review, we tend to focus on the beginning. By the end of it, we're tired. I mean, we're not meant to do that kind of boring drudgery work. Computers excel at that. So when I had it correct me and was right, I'm going, this is way cool.
All right. Well, again, I have to commend you for your work in education and getting this material out to people. It's sorely needed, and you've done a yeoman's work, as you said, thousands and thousands of hours go into this. And I personally can't thank you enough, and I think on behalf of the profession, you wrote a great
Well, you too.
Thanks for being here, Ralph. Appreciate it.
Thank you.